And hello there, and welcome along to another edition of What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes. Joining me this week on the couch, you've got Johnny Ward beside me, Brendan Duke once again, and a new member, James Warden. How are you, James?
I'm not too bad, Tom. And yourself?
Yeah, good. All the way from Wexford.
All the way from Wexford. Special appearance today.
Special appearance, okie doke. Well,
Ahead of the Ladbrokes Christmas party.
Yeah, well, like I said, he turned up in his drinking clothes, so he's ready to go.
What clothes did you turn up in?
These are my standard video cast clothes.
Well, Jiggy's week was made by the news that bootcut jeans are returning to fashion.
Yes,
so
yes, indeed. I've been waiting in the long grass for a decade. I knew fashion's cyclical.
Yeah.
It's like my look. It's cyclical, you know.
You hate the tops of your shoes.
I'm not a big fan of the tops of the shoes now. I knew they'd come back.
You knew they'd come back. A brilliant weekend's racing last weekend. Go on, James. You're the newest member of the team. So, what was your highlight last weekend?
Well, it was Size in Tennessee winning the Ladbrokes Trophy. Actually, thought he was very impressive, cementing his place as a staying chaser for the season ahead. And I think he's improved plenty since joining Tizard's Yard. And
there's a little extra to this story as well that we'll indulge in. Go on.
I did have an anti-post bet on him for the National beforehand, and he is about 33-1 for the Aintree showcase at the moment.
Good stuff.
You're happy enough?
Stuff. Yeah, we'll allow that. Go on, Jiggy, what about you?
Delta work, I enjoyed that. I was in Ferryhouse both days. The first day didn't go well, and the second day wasn't going well. But good old Delta work, travelled like a dream, because I didn't think they rode him to his strengths. I thought they should have sent him on and gone a stronger gallop. But he jumped really well, travelled really well, until the last, when he was coming to win it, and exactly the same mistake he made in Down Royal, actually. He just put down, and then I thought, I'm doomed here, but then he actually re-rallied, and in a few strides it was all over again.
Yeah, so. It's well worth, by the way, going to Pat Healy's Twitter account and just getting the picture of the last, just to see quite how close he got into it, because how he recovered from it. He just basically slid up the top of the fence and down. Just absolute momentum killer, but he got the job done. Would you think he's a potential RSA horse, 4 miler perhaps?
Yeah, he wasn't even the potential RSA, or the horse with the best potential for the RSA to run on Saturday. The bookies will be paying out on Santini for the RSA around Christmas time, I'd say.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away by Santini.
I kind of was, to be honest.
Wins everything.
Yeah.
What about you, Johnny? Your highlight of last weekend, something a little different.
From a football perspective, was Martin Obafemi's debut for Southampton. He started, his full debut, he started, like Ireland are so shorn of strikers at the moment. Start up front against Man United, and he was really good, for a guy with
it wasn't against a good team, but
not a good Man United team anyway, but at the same time, he really showed promise from a racing perspective. I thought Apple's Jade was unbelievable, and I wouldn't rule out her rerouting a bit this season. If Sam Crow is beaten at Christmas, I think they might say, well, what do we have at the Champion Hurdle? And I think there's definitely a chance Applejade might run in something other than the Mares race.
In a weird quirk of her racing life, so she actually has a worse record in Mares races than she does in Open Grade 1s.
Like beating Super Sunday by 20 lengths?
Yeah.
That's not bad going. Now, I know he would need to run a bit.
But sure, how much can he possibly find off one run? You know what I mean? You can't say he's going to improve 20
I think it will be closer
lengths.
Christmas if they clash over 3 miles, but I'd love to see her in a Champion Hurdle. I don't think she'll be quite good enough to win it, but I think she'll give a great account, and it's a bigger race than the Mares race.
Yeah, it's cracking. Right, let's move on to more superstars this weekend. We'll start with the Tingle Creek. Go on, James, give us a few prices there.
For the Tingle Creek, we've Altior in at 8-11. Under So is in at 4-1. So Royale at 5s, and St Calvados at 6-1.
Okay, there's lots of permutations here, but ultimately does it finish with Altior winning?
I just don't see why he's going to be beat here. This race is completely going to be run to suit him.
It's surely set up for him, yeah?
He's just going to be able to lob away. He'll probably kind of be snatched along at some stage, maybe 3 or 4 out. Nico will be, give a distress signal that you'd be worried about if you hadn't seen him run a million times at this stage where...
Big bucks, like.
Yeah, but I laid him in the Champion Hurdle, or in the Champion Chase last year, and... I remember saying to my mate, I'm quids in here. He ends up winning by 6 lengths or whatever it was. His finishing kick is unbelievable. It is right up there with, I think, what is probably one of our favourite races of all time in Moscow beat Mazarti up in Welchief.
Yeah.
It's up there in terms of what these horses have achieved. I can only see one winner. I can't see how it'd be beat.
It's just a grade 1 race without any dross in it. You know what I mean? Always there's a few 33-1, 50-1 posts of no chance. There's nothing here. Nothing's going to fall in front and ruin the race. 200s poke in the Derby gets in the way. This is just top class, isn't it?
It was a mate of mine was looking for an anti-post angle during the week for the 3 places, and I was like, that's grand, but he's not going to win.
yeah, you're going to get beat. Yeah. Go on, Juki. Anything beats Altior?
No, it's a high-class competitive renewal. I'm really looking forward to it, but Altior just gets it done. I think I will have a bet, though.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to do the forecast Altior to beat So Royal.
Yeah.
So Royal has £9 to find within the So in official figures, but again, the race will run to suit him in a massive way. He's an incredible jumper. I mean, he must be one of the fastest horses to get from one side of the fence to the other.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
he's not
Colin.
massive, funny enough.
I know.
He's
Well,
just
I was wondering why is this it? He's like Colin Jackson. He just about clears every fence by about this much. But actually, that's the most efficient way to jump fences.
Yeah.
He's
so
great to watch.
Brilliant to watch. I think he'll travel in behind with Altior. I don't think Altior will hit a flat spot. I think that's a Cheltenham thing.
Do you think it's just going to be like the St. Calvados and the So just burning it up top, and then the other two are going to try?
I think the jockeys are kind of like clever enough that that's not really going to happen. I think one like Undersoul does not need to lead, but it's going to be a quick pace.
Yeah. Well,
It'll have to be
Yeah.
in
It's
this company.
it's a Tingle Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, let's move on to the novice chase before that at 150, the Henry VIII, another odds-on favourite here.
Yeah,
Mark.
we have Lawler in at 4 to 5 for this. We have Diacali 7 to 2, Dynamite Dollars 9 to 1. It's Pacific de Bone, I hope I'm pronouncing that right now, at 5 to 1, and it's 9's bar those.
I mean, this could be a real day where Labrooks get cleaned out in shorties, isn't it? Like,
I think Lawler looks to be one of the most certs of the day on Saturday, to be honest, even more so than Altior, I think.
yeah, they seem to be slightly worried about potential heavy going, but he's a big, heavy horse that hits the ground hard enough. It shouldn't affect him too much.
And it's mad, like, to think that it could be heavy ground in England, and I think it was yesterday at one of the tracks. Because in Ireland, like in the East Coast, we've
Still
literally
very
had
little.
6 months of virtually no rain, and it's like it's going to take a hell of a lot of rain to actually get the ground. Like we're even wondering, will Limerick at Christmas be even soft? So the way things are going, although probably will. Diacali's a mad one here for the age of him to be running in a race like this. But
3 out of 3 over fences now.
he's been good, you know. He's had a storied history, but like this will bring the house down. Like Lawler, just the whole story behind him. Obviously, Katie Woolcott doing the training now. I thought he was absolutely brilliant the last day. You know, this race is pretty much cut up. He was very good over hurdles. His Aintree win, maybe the race, maybe, you know, there were a couple of disappointments in it, but he's a very likeable horse, notwithstanding his connections, you know. And I don't really see why he should be beaten. I wouldn't be too worried about the ground at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look the deepest renewal, does it, Jiggy?
No, not at all. But Diacali, you can make a case for him on figures, but I think those figures are slightly inflated. This Lawler, I mean, he's anti-post favourite for the Arkle, looks a proper. I was lucky enough to be in Cheltenham for the November meeting, and I saw him before, during, and after the race, and everything just got better. He's a magnificent specimen, gorgeous horse to look at.
Will he beat Mengley Khan?
I mean, Mengley sets a good standard over hurdles. He jumped so well at Cheltenham that I would say if they met tomorrow at Cheltenham, I would back Lawler. But I mean, and also Kalashnikov. I mean, he's done nothing.
Yeah, he jumps.
Get the 3 of them there in March, and we've got a
And
brilliant
I think you might well as well. I think this is
Yeah.
going to be a brilliant arc.
I have to say on that, actually, I was more taken with Lawler over fences on the first start than Kalashnikov or any of the Elliott ones that have went out so far. So I just think Lawler can only get better over fences, and the 4 or 5 to 1 for the Arkle could look massive now in a couple of days' time.
He's going to run a big race in Cheltenham.
Right, let's move on to Aintree Becher Chase 130, and Black Lion, previous winner this, he up at the top.
Black Lion 4 to 1. It is Ballyoptic at 5 to 1. Sort of a forgotten horse here, Don Poley. He's at 8 to 1. Present Man at 8 to 1, and it's 10's bar.
660 plus days off the track. Could you be making a case for Tom Pony, Johnny?
Yeah, I think I was there when he last ran. They say they don't come back. It'd be a hell of a performance to come back. I'd actually love to see him win this race. He's a very likeable horse. He's kind of one of these characters who just doesn't care what you think of him.
Yeah.
If you go to visit him in the stable, he's just like no interest in you. He's like, I'm just going to get through the day. And when he gets through a race, he's just like, I'm going to get through the race.
Yeah.
He's just one of them characters. But Black Line is rock solid. Like, won the race last year. He doesn't need a prep run. He's fine. Twister has a hell of a card here. He could well have the first and second. But I would love to see Don Poley run well. But with the weight he has,
After the break, it's a big
Now I know he was ready for Down Royal, so it's not like he will be pretty fit. But
Gordon's horses go to the track fit as well.
yeah, and his horse on great form. It is Aston Lot, but I think Black Line is rock solid. He'll probably never properly stay a national trip, but this is more like it for him.
Surely
Such
they've
a
just
likeable horse.
realised that now and realised this is his day every season.
Yeah,
He's
and
coming.
nothing wrong with winning this, like, you know, and running, I suppose, graded races over around 3 miles. I think he's rock solid, to be honest.
Can you look past Black Line in the Becher?
No, unfortunately, Tom, I keep picking favourites. I tried because it is a really competitive race now. And curiously enough, I mean, he's coming off an abysmal effort in Sandown, and he didn't jump very well over regulation fences the previous time in Haydock. But he just loves these fences. I mean, he's such a good jumper of them. He loved the heavy ground. He still looks well handicapped off 5 pounds higher than last year. I just thought, like, Johnny's rock solid.
Something else on Saturday, by the way, one you like at Navan in the beginner's chase at 2:10. A horse was really impressive last year at Clonmel.
Yes, Chris's dream. He was a smart hurdler, and he's got a lovely profile for chasing. Ex-pointer, won a point, and is with Henry de Bromhead.
Yeah, paid a fortune for him.
Yeah, so I mean, this all adds up. I don't think he'd be very short priced, though. I think he'd be favourite, but there's one of Joseph's in there, Shady Operator. He was quite a promising hurdler, and there's one or two other ones you could make a case for. So
I think he'll be fairly short.
Yeah, I was thinking he'd be about 7-4. Is that?
Yeah, I think that'll be optimistic, to be honest. Yeah, I think he'll be straight out in front, odds on and running after a fence.
Okay, let's move on to the action on Sunday then. And grade 1 action from Punchestown to John Durkin. It's a small enough field here, but guess what? We've been on top.
Cut up quite a lot, but we still have men out of shades of odds against at 5-4. Shattered Love, Gordon said this one's going to be aimed towards a Gold Cup tilt, so that's at 5-2. Balco de Flo at 4-1. And Ed Wolf, I think that would bring the roof down if that one was to win at 12-1.
2.5 miles. I mean, does that rule a few of these out for you and just brings men into it?
Well, I don't know if it brings men into it. I mean,
he
didn't get home at Aintree. You know, I was having a shocker of an Aintree, and I lumped on him to, get the week going. And he was a bit free, but at the same time, he didn't quite get home. And he's an exuberant horse. Possibly not physically entirely straightforward as well. And on the other hand, Shattered Love, she's just so solid. I was up at Down Royal the last day. I thought she, as a prep run for what I do believe will be a Gold Cup tilt, I thought it was perfect. She's absolutely massive, which means that getting like 7 pounds off Min in the physical stakes is quite.
Yeah, she's huge. Yeah, she's huge, big mare by Yates.
If they're making allowances for female jockeys in some countries, they should probably make an allowance for her not getting weight because she's so bloody big. But I just with the ground slightly on the soft side, I think she'll outstay Min, and she's probably my bet of the weekend.
Well, okay. Are you with Min, Chuki?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think keeping it straightforward.
Well, I think a repeat of that Aintree run would be good enough. Politolog's a proper horse. I mean, it was an epic. Could have gone either way. Just got chinned. I think there was a bit of a hangover from that when obviously they were chasing the trainer's title. I'm not sure it was ideal that he was run back at Punchestown. I'll give him a pass for that. I think he's the best horse in the race. And I thought he'd win.
Good stuff. Onto the Hilly Way at Cork, probably there. I mean, what was the Hilly Way before Willie Mullins came along? I never heard of it, but then he started running Duvan in the light. But anyway, great field. Another one for him here. Obviously, a place he likes to start good horses.
Yeah, we probably thought Whom the Soul would rock up here, or I sort of did. I didn't really see him going to Sandown, but great field. I mean, this horse is unbeaten over fences. People don't give him the credit he deserves just because he's kind of avoided, maybe through look or design, he's avoided taking on maybe the likes of Altior, but he's a supremely good horse to watch. He's just heavy ground. I thought was probably quite important for him, but then he rocks up on good ground, and he's probably every bit as good. You obviously have Annabelle Fly coming into the race, a prep for whatever he's going to do later on. I guess run over 3 miles at Christmas at Leopardstown, but basically this horse will win if he's anywhere near his best. He holds Dr. Phoenix, who probably has nearly the second best form of the race at Trough Hill, wouldn't be good enough to beat him. Jody McGarvey, it's a great story. It's almost like, does anyone want to ride great field? And the only one to put his hand up was Jody McGarvey, but he gets on really well with them and they just click.
Yeah, and that seems to be the feature with Jamie McManus's horses over here in particular. They do retain their riders to some extent.
And I think it's great, because Jody's a great guy, and to be riding, I think there are a few horses in training that will give you a better kick than him over a fence.
Yeah, no
He's
doubt.
quick, he's exuberant, he's daring.
You like one as well earlier on the card, a little later on the card in the 2:15, that Mare's Novice's Chase.
Yeah, it's a really good card at Cork. I think they're calling the ground soft, but for this time of year it would still be pretty quick for Cork standards. You're expecting bottomless ground. It's obviously beside the Blackwater River, which
the place gets soft during the summer,
Yeah, and it's probably still, by Cork standards, I'd say it's summer soft, which is the only worry I have for Forge Meadow. I think she's a bit of a mudlark, but her run last day behind Mingley Can was perfectly promising. She was well backed, which was hard to believe, really, considering who she was taking on. But she was the best of these over hurdles. She jumps fence as well. She'll take a hell of a lot of beating, and the more rain, the better.
Feature on Sunday as well at Huntington, Dukey, wouldn't you like, in the Peterborough Chase at 225.
Yes, Charbel, again, will be favoured, unfortunately, but very hard
Is that
to get.
5 favourites you've tipped on? 6 favourites you've tipped on?
I mean, winners always welcome, so he's hard to get away from those.
Yeah.
He gets £6 off God's own, better than everything else in the race. We don't have to worry about rain, because it just doesn't rain in Cambridgeshire.
Doesn't rain in Huntington.
He told me about this. I mean, this is the driest place. It's Death Valley, UK, isn't it? It just does
by
not
the
rain.
fens, there's just nothing there.
So I thought Charbel would win, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Right, let's get our best bets of the weekend then. And come on, James. New panellists, so we can start with you. 3 selections.
Saturday, I think you're going to find me a bit mad here, but I'm actually taking on Altior. I'm going with So Royale in that. I just think he's so quick and he's just so slick over his fences. And a replay of last year's Henry VIII chance, he was so impressive there. And
on his head now, be it like to tip something like that on his debut.
I'll tell you what, you live and die by the sword.
It's make or break now, Jay.
I just think he could make Altior pay if he hits a bit of a flat spot late on in that race. And of course, don't forget, we are money back second to the SP favourite at Navan and Sandown on Saturday in all of our Republic of Ireland shops. And then on Sunday, I just can't see past Greyfield. I fancied him for Cheltenham last year and he missed the festival. I think this is a race that Willie Mullins just tends to farm, and he's won it so many times, and I can't see anything to upset that trend here. Annabelle Fly could run into some prize money there, but Greyfield is the one to catch under Jody McGarvey.
It's the one thing about Annabelle Fly as well. He actually has decent form over 2 miles. I know he's a stayer, but he's not slow. Like he actually could run. He could definitely finish second.
Okay, best bets of the weekend. Cheeky, travel. Favourites travel, perhaps, is it?
No, I got a Nap Chica Buena in the 240. Okay. She's a progressive mare. She loved the ground, which the opposition may not, and she'll have the run of the race. She's currently around 5-1 in an 8-runner race. If all 8 run, she'd be an all-in each way job. But I'm a bit concerned that the non-runners with the ground. But I put her up as my nap in the 240. I'll stay with Aintree, the 315. Catamaran de Soy, ridden by Brian Hughes.
You love saying that.
Well, I do, yeah.
What a rider, by the way.
Well, but he's a brilliant rider, you're right, but the national fences. He's the heir apparent to Paul Carberry. He just owns these national fences.
He's such an enjoyable rider to watch.
Indeed.
King of the North.
Indeed he is, and the King of Aintree this weekend, hopefully. I think he's a well-handicapped horse on a hat-trick, only a 6-year-old. I thought he'd go close. He's around 8-1, so that's 2 that aren't favourites. So I will top off the Trixie with what's he called? Altior, is it? Altior, yes. I'll go with him.
Yeah,
I've heard good things.
Okay, hold him through the middle of your Union Jack or whatever. All right, go on, Johnny One.
Straightforward treble Altior into the Sunday fair of Forge Meadow into Shattered Love. 2 mares and Altior.
2 mares and Altior. What a way to finish. Right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again next week for more What's the Word in association with Ladbrokes.